Hello students, in this video lecture we will discuss the same chapter again, that is natural resources, land, soil and water. In the previous lecture we have discussed about this topic, one of the very important natural resource, that is land. In that we have discussed land use, land degradation as well as conservation methods. Now the next very important natural resource about which we are going to discuss in this video lecture is soil. So let us discuss about this soil. As you all know, soil is also one of the very important natural resources found on this earth. So what we are going to discuss in this video lecture is, it is about how this soil is formed, what are the factors that are responsible for soil, and we will also see how each and every factor is responsible for this formation of this soil. So first and very important thing is that this soil, it is the top covering of the earth's surface. Where we can find this soil is that on the top covering of the earth's surface, on the top layer of this earth's surface. Then this soil is formed due to wear and tear of rocks by natural and human made factors. That means how the soil is formed is that whenever these rocks or wear and tear, that means due to some natural as well as human made factors. It may be natural factors such as water or wind or any other factors, as well as it are due to some human made factors. What happens is that the rocks may crack each other, or the rocks may roll down, and the rocks may be splitting into small pieces. So due to this wear and tear of these rocks, the soil formation takes place. And how many years this soil takes to form is that it may take some thousands of years to form a very thin layer of soil. That means to form a few centimeters of soil, it may take some thousands of years. At the same time, this formation of soil is a very slow process. That means it is not a very quicker process. It will take some thousands of years or even more than that. Just to form a few centimeters of soil, it may take some thousands of years. Then what are the factors that are responsible for this formation of soil? Are that the main factors that are responsible for the formation of this soil are this parent rock material, relief, climatic conditions, plant and animal organisms, as well as this time. So these are some of the very important factors which are responsible for this formation of this soil resource. So in detail we will discuss about these factors, how this parent rock, how this relief, climatic conditions, plant and animal organisms, as well as time, how all these factors are responsible for formation of this soil. So let us discuss about this each and every factor. So now let us discuss in detail about each and every factor that is responsible for the formation of this soil. So the first and very important factor is that parent rock material. What do you mean by this parent rock? Parent rock means, just suppose imagine that this is the top layer of the soil, and below this if whatever the type of rock that is found under this top layer of the soil deep inside the earth, we call that type of rock as this parent rock. So that is why parent rock means, you see here, the underlying rocks which contain minerals and make up bulk of the soil are called parent rock. And this parent rock, it also contains some kind of minerals which are bulk in size deep inside the earth. So that we call it as this parent rock. And how it influences the formation of the soil is that it influences the color of the soil. The parent rock will only decide the color of the soil, and texture, chemical properties and mineral content, as well as the last one is permeability of the soil. The permeability of the soil means the property of the soil to transmit water into it. So that property we call it as this permeability of this soil. So this parent rock, once again if you see, it influences mainly the color of the soil, texture of the soil, chemical properties, mineral content, what type of minerals are present, as well as permeability of this soil. So all these things are mainly influenced by this parent rock. So this we can say that one of the very important factor, or one of the very important role played by this parent rock in the formation of this soil. Then the next one is about this relief. Relief means, as you all know, the highest and lowest place of any area, we call it as this relief. Suppose this elevation and nature of the slope can influence the rate of weathering. That means elevation of the means, suppose whatever the height, whether it is very high or whether it is a flat surface. So depending upon this elevation of this place, it can also influence this formation of the soil. For example, the flat surface will have thicker soil. Why? Because here the formation takes place somewhat very slow, whereas compared to this steep slopes. Why? Because here, for example, if you see here, there is a steep slope like this. The soil formation, what happens is that the soil will not be formed here. Why? Because it will drain away from here to here, and it may form here. So that is why on the flat surface you can find the thickness of the soil is very high, whereas on the steep slopes, that means on the slopes like this, the soil thickness is very, very small. So that is also the very important factor which plays in the formation of soil. Then the third one is about this climatic conditions. So these climatic conditions, especially the rainfall as well as temperature, will also decide this. We can also influence the formation of this soil. Wherever, for example, you see here you see seasonal distribution of temperature and rainfall determines the type and effectiveness of weathering and humus formation. That means weathering means you should know that the breaking down of rocks by different factors. So here temperature may also affect in breaking down of the rocks, as well as rainfall may also affect in breaking down of these rocks. So wherever the temperatures are very high, wherever the climatic conditions such as rainfall is very high, there the formation of soil is somewhat very quicker, and at the same time it also helps in the humus formation. Just imagine the temperatures are very high and the rainfall is very, very less, there the humus content is very, very less. Whereas if the temperatures are high or low, but if the rainfall is very high, means in those places you see that the humus formation is very, very high. So that is why in those areas wherever there is a high amount of rainfall, in that areas the soil is highly good for cultivation. Why? Because there is a lot of humus present in this type of soil. Then the fourth one is that plant and animal organisms. So these plants and animal microorganisms helps the young soil into this mature soil. So we will see how this soil formation steps can also be taken place. So we will just you see different stages in this soil, and this from young soil to this mature soil, how it takes place is that it is mainly due to these plants as well as microorganisms. These microorganisms only converts this normal soil into this, or young soil into this mature soil, or we can also say an immature soil into this mature soil. Then these dead plants also provide humus. Apart from microorganisms, the dead plants are very good in providing humus to this soil. That is why this humus, whatever the humus that is formed due to the dead plants, this humus gives dark brown color to this soil. For example, wherever you go, if you see a soil which is in this dark brown color, means you can understand that that soil is mainly formed due to these dead plants, because these dead plants, they provide more and more humus. So this plant and animal organisms also plays a very important role in this formation of this soil. Next we will see about this another last important factor, that is about time. And the last important factor that is responsible for this formation of soil is time. So when we say that a soil is considered as mature, that means, as I told in the previous just now, as I mentioned, that what is immature soil, what is mature soil. When we call it as a mature soil is that when a body of the soil is considered as mature if the soil forming process have acted over a sufficient period of time. That means if the soil formation acted, that means if the soil formation has taken a sufficient time period, then only we call it as this matured soil. If not, we will call it as this immature soil. If it is formed within short time, or if it is within the lesser time, we will say it is immature soil. When we say it as a matured soil is that when the soil has taken sufficient time, that means more time to form, then we call it as this mature soil. And where this soil mainly develops is that the soil develops more quickly in humid regions than in dry regions. That means wherever the temperatures are humid, wherever there is more rainfall, there the soil formation is very quicker compared to this dry regions. Dry regions in the sense, for example, if you take desert areas or wherever the temperatures are more with a less rainfall, in those regions the soil formation is very slower compared to this humid regions. So these are the 5 important factors that are responsible for this formation of the soil. Then the next very important topic is that about soil profile. What is this soil profile? Is that a vertical section of the soil from surface to parent rock is the soil profile. That means vertical section, that means from here to here, that means from here to here to here to all this vertical section from top to this parent rock, that means from top soil to this parent rock which is lying below this top soil, from here to here we call it as this something known as this soil profile. And the process of soil formation gives rise to a well marked horizontal layers called soil horizons. Like during the process of formation of the soil, it has been divided into horizontal layers. Then these horizontal layers, that means this layer, this layer, this layer, this layer, this layer, this layer, these 4 layers we may call them as this soil horizons. So when this soil horizons takes place is that during the process of soil formation, when the process of soil formation is going on, then there are some horizontal layers that are divided in this soil profile from top to this bottom. These horizontal layers we call them as this soil horizons, and these soil horizons we can call them as horizon A, horizon B, horizon C as well as horizon D. That means this is horizon A and this is horizon B, this is horizon C and this is horizon D. So like this 4 different horizontal layers have been formed in this soil. So now in detail we will see what are these different horizons. What is horizon A, horizon B, horizon C as well as horizon D. As we have seen that the top soil the soil profile has been divided into different horizons such as horizon A, B, C as well as D. So now let us discuss in detail about what are these horizons, what is horizon A, B, C as well as D. So first let us see about this horizon A. This horizon A we may also call it as this top soil. So it is the topmost layer of the soil, and this horizon A, it contains soluble minerals as well as organic material. Soluble minerals means those minerals which can be dissolved easily into the water, as well as this organic material. These are the things which are present in this top soil, and these are needed for this growth of plants. These soluble minerals and organic material, they are highly required for this growth of plants. Then this leaching of soil is very common in this horizon A, since it is the topmost layer of the soil. Due to water, due to air, due to wind or due to any other natural factor, the leaching is a common process in this horizon A. Why? Because whenever there is a rainfall, whenever there is a speed wind, the leaching automatically takes place due to because it is on this top layer. Then just below the top soil, just below the horizon A, you can find this horizon B, which we may also call it as this subsoil. And what are the things that are present in this subsoil are that it contains sand, silt as well as clay are present in this subsoil. Sand, silt means it's something like a mud kind of thing, as well as clay. So these are the things which are present in this subsoil, and it has more mineral content than A. That means more than topsoil, more than horizon A, in horizon B we can find more mineral content, and horizon A and B together form the true soil. When we say it is something as a true soil or the original soil, is that together with horizon A and horizon B together we call it as this true soil. Then just below this horizon B you have horizon C, which we also call it as this the layer of rock fragments. As I told, it has a rock fragments it is a rock fragments layer. It has small pieces of rocks, that means it has more and more small pieces of rocks, and this true soil, whatever the true soil which is combined together with horizon A and B, this true soil develops from these rocks. That means this true soil will develop from these small pieces of rocks. Then these rocks are not affected by this biological process. The biological process means interacting with all these microorganisms or bacteria or whatever the things. These small fragments of rocks are not affected by this biological process. And just below this origin C, you find origin D, where this parent rock is present here, and this parent rock is something which is unbroken soil rock. That means which is very solid, which is very strong, and which is unbreakable. So this is how the soil is, or the soil profile has been divided into different origins. They are origin A, origin B, origin C, as well as origin D. So this is how the soil has been divided into different horizontal layers. Thank you.